welcome to another episode of Beer for Breakfast ABV. I am Danielle from the morning show on 91X in beautiful Big Bear, California. As always, I have my beer drinking partner in crime with me, Paul Segura, and we have the man himself, Dave Adams from Green Flash Brewing. Welcome.
Hi guys, great to see you.
Always a pleasure, sir. How are you?
The pleasure is all on this side of the room.
Are you at the tasting room?
Yeah, I'm at the tasting room right now. I'm chilling in the beer garden. You have the background of the beautiful foliage.
Oh, I've taken many a photo in front of that beautiful foliage. I've seen many influencers take many photos in front of that beautiful foliage. It's great.
Excellent.
So we're kicking things off by drinking the Tropical DNA Hazy IPA. Dude, I love this beer. It's so perfect for summer.
Yeah, thanks. I agree. And I know we've tasted this beer before, but nothing like a refresher for the correct period of the year, right? And this is a beer that I've always dug. It's Citra Simcoe Mosaic, but super low on the bitterness and lots and lots of fun, interesting hop aromas. And obviously we call it tropical DNA for a reason. So lots of tropical fruit, mango, guava, pineapple on the aroma.
I forgot how good this beer was.
Too.
Right? I mean, every time I drink this, I think I say, yeah, I forgot how good this was.
I think that's a good problem, right?
Well, and the thing, it's never a problem. And the thing that I appreciate really about all of your beers over at Green Flash is the cans taste exactly what it tastes like when I'm sitting in the tasting room. There's no difference when it comes to the quality. And this feels like I'm sitting in the tasting room drinking a fresh tropical DNA. Let's see. What's the date on this guy? I think it was on the box, actually.
Yeah, thanks. And all the beers, I mean, right now, just obviously with everything going on with the pandemic, the grocery store and off-premise, cans and bottles and stuff are the large majority of our business, considering that many of the bars and restaurants are not operating. So what that means as the, silver lining to all the customers out there in the world that we live in of no silver linings is that you get super duper ultra fresh beer. And, on top of that, we work endlessly and tirelessly on getting the best dissolved oxygen levels that we possibly can in the packaged products. And hopefully that turns into a long lasting product that tastes fresh for a really long time.
Danielle, I don't think we've ever really talked about like dissolved oxygen levels in packaged beer before. Dave's taking
No, we haven't. This is the first.
It's taking us on a new adventure. Could you describe briefly for like the general public out there what dissolved oxygen would do to beer if it came in contact with beer in the package?
Yeah, for sure. It's super important and something, that you kind of alluded to that is not real prominent in the public's knowledge of having craft beer. But by having really elevated counts of dissolved oxygen in the beer, what you end up with is rapidly aging the product. So the higher that number is, the faster the beer oxidizes, ostensibly, and that can equal, especially in hop forward beers with a rapidly reduced hop aroma, which is, so important to hop forward beers. So it's really, really, really vital that if you're a hop forward brewery, especially, it goes for any brewery, but if you're a hop forward brewery, especially, having that low dissolved oxygen content is going to equal an extended life for your beautiful dry hopped aromas that you get.
Well said, sir. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I think when you get that dissolved oxygen level of anything above like 100, within just a few weeks, you start noticing this wet cardboard or papery-like flavor in the beer, and you start seeing the hop levels or the hop freshness kind of start to fade away pretty quickly. One thing I think that's cool about Green Flash is when you sit in the tasting room there, you can see all this top of the line canning and bottling equipment and stuff that they have there, which makes sure that the dissolved oxygen levels are pretty low in their beers. I kind of nerd out on that stuff.
I like it. I dig it.
Yeah, for sure. Super important. And again, I think it's not just to belabor the point. It's not something a lot of people talk about, and certainly not common, and top of mind with consumers. But it is super important to the finished product of the beer, and that is where all that money goes to, is trying to make the best possible product on the shelf for everyone. And and I think a lot of people talk, like you said, a lot being an issue with paper and wet cardboard characters, but on a smaller level, for sure, it rapidly reduces those hop characteristics, and that's what you don't want.
Right.
Speaking of these times in the tasting room, what is going on with Green Flash in these times in the tasting room?
Yeah, great question. We have just been open the whole time and keeping up with the all the regulation changes as fast as we can. So we started off in, when was that? I think it was 25 years ago. No, it was in March, actually. We started off doing beer. Yeah, right.
Right before
time is a flat circle, and that's that. But we started off doing beer to go only, and then we offered some prepackaged sandwiches, and then we moved to having the food truck here, and then we rolled everything back to beer to go. So our current iteration is we're open every day, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we're still offering beer to go, and then Thursday through Sunday we have a food truck that's here, so you can actually dine in and have a beer and enjoy yourself.
I will say I had the carne asada fries when I was there a couple days ago. Friday it was. They were delicious, and everything on that menu from the food truck looked really, really good.
The beers are always super good and super fresh there. I love that. And you guys do a great job cleaning your tap lines and keeping the tasting room comfortable.
Yeah, also shout out to West Coast IPA being back. I know it's been back for about a year to its original recipe of a just West Coast IPA. It is so good. It's really has turned into my go-to beer anytime I see that it's on.
That's so rad. And I think we talked about that last time. Yes. I made an appearance on Beer for Breakfast with West Coast, and it's such, for me, it's like every time I have a pint of it or have a can of it or whatever, it always is such a nice respite, because we live in the world, for better or worse, of some lower IBU and, the hazy IPAs and whatnot, which are great. Like, I love those beers. I have no problems with them. And but it's so fun to revisit, an old favorite. It's like having a blankie from when you were a kid, and it's so delicious to enjoy.
Well, pivoting into our next beer, Alpine Duet. So another legit IPA coming in at 7%. This is another brand co-owned with Green Flash. So Duet. Love this beer. I drank it on the lake yesterday, and it was the perfect lake beer.
I am so happy this beer is part of the show.
Lake beer.
Mm-hmm.
I've loved this beer for a long time too. What you said about kind of, an old friend or whatever, like a baby blanket. This beer, Duet, exactly. Nelson, Happy Birthday.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those beers are like a comfortable blanket.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, certainly a stalwart in the world of American IPAs, and actually in the beer judging certification guidelines as an example of what an American IPA should taste like. I mean, I don't think it gets more, better than that. That'll do it for you. And
absolutely.
I think it's the, that malt balance of still keeping the pale malts in there, with some Maris Otter, but then the Amarillo and the Simcoe just make such a great pairing, and the just nice medium bitterness that it has is it's just the right amount of dry hop. It's the right amount of bitterness, and it makes for a nice balanced, super delicious IPA.
It's got everything that the beer lover who drinks beer for flavor wants in a beer. That Maris Otter gives it just the right touch of like breadiness and biscuitiness. And like you said, man, the perfect level of bitterness and hoppiness. And that duet of those two hops is, they work in harmony and in conjunction with each other so well.
Yeah, no doubt. Couldn't agree more. And always love Maris Otter as the a major malt component in IPAs. I don't think it's something that you see super often, especially nowadays. And it's another cool, delicious kind of throwback, if you will.
Well, speaking of Amarillo hops and throwbacks, one of my all-time favorite Green Flash beers still to this day is Hophead Red.
Oh, yeah.
I believe was 100% Amarillo, if I'm not mistaken. Was it a single hop?
Well, it wasn't single hop, but the dry hop was largely Amarillo, and that's a lot of the beer, clearly. I guess to tell you just some insider trading information, we did talk about it in the management meeting this morning of potentially doing a small batch of it to have it on in the tasting room. It is possible that don't hold me over the fire, don't hold my feet over the coals on this one, but it is possible that we will have some to enjoy in the tasting room in the near future.
Okay, everybody, put your comments in right now in the comment section. You want Hophead Red back? Send your emails over. Let Green Flash know we want it back because, that is such a good beer.
Hey, Eric Jensen, you better get on that next week. Eric Jensen, of course, is the brewmaster at Green Flash, and he's got some of the most impeccable credentials of anybody anywhere as a brewmaster. He's one of the smartest, coolest brewmasters that I know. So it's no wonder that all of your beers are insanely good.
Well, and as I was sitting in the tasting room, I was looking at the board and I was looking at what's in packages right now, and then also just knowing all of the other beers that the Green Flash has produced in the past. I was like, how do you even pick a favorite? There are so many favorites that are on the board currently, but then other ones that just like pop up every so often, like Hophead Red. Dude, I have to commend you on Palate Wrecker. I love Palate Wrecker, and every time that I see it's there, I'm like, yeah.
Green Flash has such a huge lexicon.
Yeah, Palate Wrecker. I mean, we hadn't made. Sorry, go ahead, Paul.
I was just going to say, I didn't know you were going to jump in. I think Green Flash has such a great lexicon of beers out there available, just kind of in the vault, like Hophead Red, ready to bring back at any given time to make people like me happy.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, Palate Wrecker too is another one that we hadn't brewed for quite some time and decided to bring it back on draft this year. And, the release got a little bit bungled because of the old global pandemic that we're living through. But we did have the privilege of having it on in the tasting room. And another one that's so fun to revisit that's, almost antithetical to the beers of today that we see. So it's fun to, I think actually the first time that we made that at Mira Mesa, it might have been right when I first started. So it was, I guess it's a decade ago now. And we sent it off to White Labs to get tested for IBUs, and it tested at 143 IBUs.
We also tested it at Carl Strauss. Chuck Silva brought us a couple cans or bottles back then at Carl Strauss, and we tested it there independently of White Labs. And yeah, I remember it being like in the high 30s. It was legit.
That's cool.
It's
I think that was
such a good beer. Do yourself a favor and get to the tasting room to try Palette Records. See, like, we're going down the list of all these amazing Green Flash beers, and like, it's a shame that we had to like just taste 2 on Beer for Breakfast. But this is exactly why you need to get to the tasting room there in Mira Mesa and pay them a visit over there at Green Flash. Mr. Dave Adams, is there anything that you would like to leave the people with here for Beer for Breakfast about Green Flash?
No, I think just, stay safe out there, everyone, and appreciate all the support through the tough time, and wish everybody, the best of luck through this trying time, and look forward to seeing you all come by the tasting room to pick up your beer to go or have a pint with the meal, and we'll chat soon.
Mr. Paul Segura, anything from you?
stay healthy, Dave Adams, and keep brewing good beer, keep making good beer, keep proselytizing about good craft beer in San Diego. Love you and love your whole brewery, man. Cheers to you guys.
Right on. Cheers, guys. I love you too. Thanks for having me.
And remember, Friday morning, Paul Segura will be joining Marty and I on the radio. I will be back in the studio. Probably still be on a good buzz from my time here in Big Bear. But we will be drinking Green Flash beer with Marty at 9:10 Beer for Breakfast. If you've missed any Beer for Breakfast in the past, you can buy them at 91x.com. Thank you so much, and cheers to independently owned craft beer and radio in San Diego.
Cheers to that. Cheers to Abel Garcia.
Cheers, everyone. Great to see you.
91X.